Make sure to go and check out all of our latest merch at paddockmerch.com. We've got loads of new designs and even more products coming all the time. With 2 or more items, you get 20% off using the code Paddock20. And if you remember, there's even bigger discounts available. Link is in the description. Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. My name is Joe and this is the news this morning. We're going to be talking about Ernesto Valverde, Manchester United's next possible manager. We're also going to be talking a little bit about Michael Carrick, United's current manager, and his response to Paul Scholes' criticism last night after the win away in Villarreal. It's very, you know what? We should rejoice somewhat that we're all here. We're all experiencing the day after a Manchester United win. Because in the last 6 weeks, we haven't had many of these days where you wake up and go, oh, we won last night. That's good, isn't it? Manchester United did beat Villarreal 2-0 away, confirming their place in the knockout stage of the Champions League. Then we saw the result, Atalanta drawing with Young Boys, then confirming the fact that we have won the group. It's easy, this Champions League stuff. I don't know what all the fuss is about. All it took was Ronaldo to score in every game and Bruno Fernandes to assist in every game, and we're through. Easy. I almost choked up then. I've not seen sights like this in a long time at Manchester United. So let's enjoy it. Breathe it in. Let's get into this Valverde stuff then, because this is serious business. Get your comments in. Get your thoughts on Ernesto Valverde, and I'll come to them in just a moment. This is from The Guardian last night. It was then reported by The Telegraph, then reported by The Athletic. Basically, this is confirmed news as far as, sort of press reliability goes. The big boys have all been reporting on this. It started with Jamie Jackson and Fabrizio Romano in The Guardian. They say Manchester United meet Ernesto Valverde with Pochettino still in sights. Man United have spoken to Ernesto Valverde regarding becoming their interim manager. The 57-year-old was Barcelona's manager from May 2017 until January 2020, winning La Liga twice and a Copa del Rey, obviously a double in that 2017-18 season, and is currently out of work. It's understood Valverde has discussed with John Murta, United's football director, taking over on a temporary basis, with the club conscious that having worked with Lionel Messi at Barca would ease his managing of Cristiano Ronaldo. Sorry, he would be at ease managing Cristiano Ronaldo, because they're the same person, aren't they? Messi and Ronaldo, as far as our board are concerned, are the same person. We don't even know who we signed. We just signed one of those good players that used to play in Spain 10 years ago. Sign one of them, give him a shirt. Who cares which one it is? It's the same person, apparently. Because you can message, if you can manage Messi, you can manage Ronaldo. They're the same. Valverde has started sounding out potential players he'd like to add to strengthen the squad should he be appointed. Now, they go on a little bit, but the key detail here, the next piece is Valverde is understood to be one of 5 candidates on the list for interim role, and United are ready to abandon that strategy if they can get Pochettino from Paris Saint-Germain now. Leicester's Brendan Rodgers is a manager regarded by United as being of the requisite calibre for the permanent job. Forget about that. I hope that don't happen anyway. So Valverde, what has he won? What can he do? What is he good at? He won the double, as we saw there, in 2017-18. He won the league in 2018-19 as well for Barcelona. I believe he was top of the league when he got sacked. So he's a manager with a very high calibre, a manager that's done good things with that Barcelona team as they transitioned away from having Neymar. I think that's when they sold Neymar. He was in charge. They still won the league. That 2017-18 season, by the way, they lost 1 game. It was the second to last game of the season. They were a whisker away from going undefeated all season, Barcelona, and they lost 5-4 to Levante because they rested Messi. So it's, I know he didn't win the Champions League, but he's a very high caliber manager, very strong tactically, very good manager who's been out of work for, January 2020, borderline 2 years now at this point, which is slightly strange to say the work he did there at Barcelona. Like I said, he nearly go undefeated in a full season. That is very impressive as a manager. Now, part of me thinks, why would he join on an interim basis? But then you've got to think, he, looking at Manchester United's situation, will be thinking, if I do well, if I come in as the interim till the end of the season and win the Champions League or win an FA Cup and get to a Champions League semi-final, there's a decent chance he sticks around next season. Because what you have to remember as well is, Pochettino, if he doesn't come now, is going to be managing PSG till the end of the year, which, he may well do very well in the Champions League, win the league there. He may sort of cement his place there for next season, all while, in his head imagining managing Manchester United. If Poch wins the Champions League with PSG, I don't think they're going to get rid of him. Likewise, if whoever comes in as interim for Manchester United wins the Champions League, we aren't going to get rid of him. So if you are Valverde, who hasn't been in a job for nearly 2 years, as we've seen there, and sees himself as a top caliber manager, you might be thinking, I'll go in there, I'll impress, I'll finish third, maybe if he can upset that sort of Chelsea, City, Liverpool triumvirate that seems so sort of, head and shoulders above everyone else. If he could do something miraculous in his time, who knows? He may well be given the full-time job. Give us your thoughts in the comments on Ernesto Valverde. Ed T says, Valverde is a good manager. Politics ended his run at Barca too early. I completely agree. I'm not saying that I think I would prefer him over Poch or whatever, but I think Valverde is a very good manager, and he did very good things at Barcelona. Okonomi Katsu says, Diego Simeone in all caps. We've seen that. Jesus, can you stop the Glazers and Ed from ruining our club? I've tried all my prayers, all my potions, all the things that I got. I can't, protests and all sorts, even less sort of supernatural ways of trying to get rid of them. It's very difficult to get rid of multi-billion pound owners of multi-billion pound corporations, which is what they see Manchester United as. Someone said, only 3 people I want right now, Big Sam, Ranieri, or bring back Jose. I think you're having a laugh. Valverde, then, it does seem that contact has been made. The mention there of 5 potential managers that aren't Poch. So let's take Poch out of that. You've got Valverde, seemingly Rodgers, Ragnick potentially on that list as well. I'm not sure who else would be. Who do you think is on that list of 5 interim managers that United could see bringing in short term? So not, it's not going to be a 2-3 year appointment. It's going to be to the end of the season. I'm not sure who else would be on that list at the moment. But obviously, we've been linked with the Spain manager as well. I can't remember his name. Luis Enrique, another former Barcelona manager. Being a former Barcelona manager is an odd sort of title to hold, because it's not unreasonable, or it's not uncommon that a Barcelona manager will go to Barcelona, win loads of trophies, and just never get a big job again. Because of the way they tend to hire people, they often just sort of go back into the underground, managing mid-table teams. Real Madrid managers, you can think of who they've had as manager. They've had Jose, they've had Ancelotti, they've had even someone like Pellegrini. These managers leave Real Madrid and then go manage other big clubs. Whereas Barca managers, they just tend to sort of, I know Enrique's got the Spain job, but there's plenty of Barca managers over the last few years that just don't manage a big club anymore, which is slightly odd, maybe because of how specifically ran Barcelona is. But yeah, give me your thoughts on Valverde. For me, I think he'd be an excellent interim. I really do. I think he's of a caliber of manager where, from what he did at Barcelona, you could ask the question without being laughed at. Is he in that elite category? He could well be in that top of the top. Maybe not quite the consistency of Pep, but he's done more, I would say, on his CV than Tuchel had when he went to Chelsea, for instance. I think he's done an excellent job as a manager, and I think if we got him into the end of the season, we'd see very good things from Man United. My only concern would be he's very tactically minded. So you're trying to drill this team before the end of the season to play Valverde's style, and then at the end of the year, they have to be then immediately drilled again to play Pochettino's style or Ten Hag style or whoever we get at the end of the season. Might be a bit tricky trying to, turn everything one way and then turn it all back within 7 months. Obviously these players aren't stupid and they're all very, gifted football-wise, but it's a lot of flip-flopping in a short-term period, isn't it? That would be my main concern with Valverde. But I think if we could get him in, if Pochettino isn't available, if we've decided he's the man but we can't get him now, get Valverde in. I think he'd be an excellent appointment, very good coach. And like we said before, he's managed Messi, so that's basically the same as managing Ronaldo, isn't it? Let's move on then. Last night, of course, Manchester United beat Villarreal away. The first time we've ever beat them away, I believe, and qualified for the knockout stage of the group stage of the Champions League. It's weird because when this group came out, it was like, oh, perfect, easy group. Villarreal, decent team, but not great. Atalanta, decent team, but not great. Young Boys, not great. And yet, after that first game, losing to Young Boys, it felt as though everything was on the verge of collapse. And all it's taken is 3 miracles from Cristiano Ronaldo, and we're through. Top of the group as well. But after the game, Michael Carrick, the obvious interim manager at Man United, spoke about Paul Scholes' criticism. Now, let me just reference this criticism before I talk about Carrick's response. There's a few quotes coming from Paul Scholes talking about, how the coaches should be feeling and the fact that they should have gone as well. But this is the sort of the most, I would say, the most kind of, what's the word? Excitable quote from Paul Scholes, shall we say. He said, "I would be embarrassed being on the staff now. They," presumably talking about Carrick, McKenna and Phelan, "all should have gone, sacked or gone off their own back. They've let the club down as much as Ole has." And there were other quotes, like I said, inflammatory is the word I was looking for, quotes from Paul Scholes. And Carrick has responded to them, obviously asked about what do you make of the fact that not just, a pundit, but essentially your central midfield partner for about 5 years has come out and said that you should have been sacked as well. Michael Carrick said, "It's not an important result for me personally. It's an important result for the club. It's been an emotional few days. The first person I spoke to after Ed offered me the role was Ole. I thought it was the right thing to do." Slightly deflecting there, but I do think it's important that he comes out and addresses it, because that sentiment, whilst being put forward specifically by Paul Scholes there, is something that I think a lot of fans echo of. You were the coaches that were under Solskjaer. Why are you still here and he's gone? What difference can we expect to see when they've cut the head off the beast, but the body's still there? And I understand that, but at the same time, if you're Michael Carrick and Ed Woodward comes to you and says, "We want you to take over as caretaker until we get an interim manager," I don't think anyone who has the thoughts of Manchester United at their heart and in their mind would say, "Nah, I'm going to leave as well, and we should all go." You need to find a coach and some assistants in 2 days, because that's the job that's ahead of them. The fact that the Glazers dawdled, allowed the international break to pass before getting Solskjaer out of the job isn't Michael Carrick's fault. If you'd have sacked him after the City game, you'd have had a long time to do this. You'd have had 2 weeks to get someone in like Valverde to come in, bring his coaches in, set up, have the interim for the end of the season. But they didn't do that. They sacked him Saturday night, and they had a game on the early kickoff on Tuesday evening. You got 2 days there, and I don't think if you're Michael Carrick, if anyone was Michael Carrick, you would say, you know what, not only am I not going to take this job that you've offered me, which presumably is a dream for Michael Carrick to manage Manchester United, I'm going to insist that all of these coaches quit, and you have to now find a new manager, because you can't have no one in the dugout, a new manager and a new set of coaching staff by Tuesday. And really, it's not even by Tuesday, is it? Because they'll have either trained on Sunday or maybe Monday, or whoever's doing the briefing and the coaching and the tactics for the game, regardless of whether they had a big session or not, because I know you turn around, they might not have. But someone's had to give them tactics and instructions. You have to get all of that in today, basically. It's not going to happen, is it? They needed someone in the dugout. Michael Carrick is there. It's not his fault that he and his team weren't released at the start of the international break. I think if anyone was him, they would have done the same thing, and you can't blame him for that. It's not his fault that the owners and the board dawdled in getting rid of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, maybe when they should have at the start of the international break. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know your thoughts on last night as well. Michael Carrick, obviously 100% win record as Man United manager. If that doesn't get you the full-time job, I don't know what does. Matthew Free says, "Joe, you're going to be late for 6 a.m. hot yoga. Hurry up." How long's this session? It's 10:30. It's a 10-hour yoga session. I'll just join in the last third. Ryan says, "It's not nullified. We got in a decent manager. We could realistically win an FA Cup and get top. See how it goes in the Champions League." I don't know if we could get to the top of the league, but I think, making a good push in the FA Cup with the right manager, we would be sort of in that frame of equal favourites for the FA Cup. And obviously the Champions League is difficult, but we saw Chelsea done it twice in this decade, bringing a manager halfway through the season and win the Champions League with them. It's not impossible. Ross Murphy says, "Joe is right. As much as the coaching staff have been such a problem, not just Ole, you can't just sack every coaching staff until the new manager's in." Yeah, who's taking training? Who promotes someone from the academy? But then, to me, that game last night was such an important game. And you know what? There wasn't radical differences, but there wouldn't have been radical. Who's the most sort of radically sort of tactical manager in the world? let's say Pep, for instance, someone who's so strict on his tactics, we all know that. Even if you'd have got Pep in Saturday night, you wouldn't have possibly seen much change by Tuesday afternoon because you can't teach everything in 2 days or 1 day because one's a travel day and the one's a rest day. They couldn't have taught everything in that time. No matter who the new manager was, you wouldn't have seen radical differences in performance in 2 days. So the fact that Michael Carrick came in, steadied the ship a little bit, got some decent performances out of some of those players in the second half, played some players that deserved to play after their performances at the weekend in Sancho and Van der Beek, got the win. That's really all you can ask for a caretaker manager, and I think he did a decent job. Stephen Kerr says, not a single goal from set piece. Well, not last night, no. Do you think Valverde news was just put out as a tactic to make Poch eager to join now rather than later? That's a really good point, and that's something I wanted to mention, so thank you for that comment, Levyman UK. Very possible. I think there's a chance that all of this is, whilst, of course, you'd need a backup plan in case Poch can't come, the fact that this is clearly being leaked to the press, talking about the conversation that was had, even to those details of the United board think that because Valverde managed Messi, he will be at ease managing Ronaldo. Those are details that presumably have come from Manchester United. And I don't think it's a coincidence that news is coming out. We could have easily contacted them in private. When a journalist comes to the club, they say, you know what, we're looking at other options, but Poch is the main guy. I think the fact that this has come out so strongly last night, Romano and Jackson come out and say it. James Ducker in the Telegraph comes out and says it as well. I think United are probably trying to put a bit of pressure on Poch, going, we've got other options, mate. If you want to stay there, you stay there. And hopefully you don't win a Champions League with us because you might never get the job. It's up to you. I think there's a chance United are giving it the old, well, if you don't want to come back to mine, I've got plenty of birds in here that will. Plenty of birds in here that will. And let's just hope that, let's hope I don't fall in love with them. Because then you might never get your chance. See you later. Oh, you do want to go back to mine? Come on then. I think that's what we're trying to do with Poch. Joe, Poch basically gave a come get me play. Well, he did, but he still needs to put pressure on these things because there's a chance that he's saying that to make sure United know he wants the job. You've got to think about this politically and tactically. Poch comes out, I'd love to leave now. Maybe he knows he can leave now, and that's great. Or maybe Poch is going, I'd love to leave now. These bastards won't let me. Oh, if it was up to me, I'd go. And then PSG going, no, you can leave. And he's going, they won't let me. Don't say that. I want to win him in the Champions League with Neymar. Do you know what I mean? There's a chance that all of this is slightly tactical. But what we know is United want Poch, and if we can't get him, Valverde seems to be top of that list. Very good appointment, if you ask me. Very good manager. And, of course, Michael Carrick defending his position as manager. I think he did a good job last night. Being there on the sideline. It's quite a statesmanly look to Michael Carrick, isn't there? The job was done. That's all that really matters. Thank you for joining me. We've got loads of videos coming out today. We're going to be looking more at the tactics of the game last night, and we will have Maram in as well, with Stephen Howson looking at Donny and Sancho, where they fit in at Manchester United and why they are the men to take Manchester United forward. That should be coming out tomorrow. Very good video. Check out the last video we did with Maram if you haven't already. I think it's what has gone wrong at Manchester United. Very good video. Very tactically minded person, Maram. So excellent stuff coming up there. Thank you very much for joining us. Subscribe to the channel if you want already. We're aiming for 700,000 subscribers. If you're watching, you're not subscribed, you think, I like this channel, click the subscribe button. It's as simple as that. The link is in the chat. The link is also below the video. It's everywhere. You can't miss it. Click subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in a bit.